chilly here in central Iowa this morning. I think the temperature is about, I don't know, 40 degrees, something like that right now. We are starting to see some blue sky up there, though. It's supposed to clear off this afternoon and get up middle to upper 50s. It's supposed to be 75 by the end of the week. Anyway, get in here. I'm gonna turn the heaters on once again. I came down and turned them on a little bit ago, but I'm gonna warm it up just a little bit more in here. So I'll be back shortly. And I almost forgot, had something sent to me. Came from that guy right there, John Scheel. And for those of you that don't know, that is where that bumper came from. He makes those and ships them all over, delivers a lot of them too, travels the country and has a trailer and delivers and installs them for people. And I'll link his website down in the description. And not sure what this is. It feels like a license plate of some sort. And that's what it is. Doubt that he sent a note. Nope. And this is a Kentucky farm plate. Different looking plate. Kentucky Proud 4-H. So thanks, John. I'll be getting this up on the wall, and again, I'll link his website down below if you're interested in one of those bumpers. And as you saw in my last video, I got both the inside of these quarter panels coated with that rust bullet. So I'm going to go ahead and open this box up. We're going to get this quarter panel out of here again, and we're gonna get them on the Bronco, or at least one of them. And I want to mention again real quick, if you like what you see in this video, hit that like button, also the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. By hitting that like button, leaving a comment, that type of thing, it shows YouTube's algorithm that there's human interaction taking place on that video, and hopefully then they'll push it out to a few more people. It's supposed to help promote the channel a little bit. Anywho, got this box opened up. That was a major task. And now need to go along the outside of this thing. We got to punch a bunch of holes. And to do that, we're going to be using this here tool, which I had an air leak down here. I think I need to put some Teflon tape on that before I do anything. But we got to go along, and like I showed, I don't know, it was in a previous video. I'm not sure if it was the last video. Anyway, there's about a gazillion spot welds that have to go in. All along up here, down back in here. All up and down through here. A lot of holes. So I'm gonna get some Teflon tape on these threads so it's not leaking air all the time, and we'll get to work. So I need to come in here, like I said, and punch a whole bunch of holes, and basically just all along here, back here where it wraps around tail light, back, all up this side, up in there. Oh no, not up in there. That used to be, or not used to be, but that's up inside here. There's no way I'm going to be able to get to that. I think it's going to be fine anyway. It's going to be spot welded all up and down through here. Then back in here. Don't think that's going to be an issue. Also gets a spot weld there. And like I said, there's no rhyme or reason to these spot welds. I even came back here and measured some off just for kicks. They vary anywhere from 1.5 inches apart up to, well, this one here I think is 4 inches, there's 3 inches, all over the place. Just need to put holes in there. I'm going to try to space them out fairly equally, but I'm not going to measure off each one or anything. And I think before I get going on this, I may come in here and just grind all these down flat. These up here, I already pretty much ground off flat. So I think we're okay there. May need to remove these. Not a big deal, but all this stuff just takes a little bit of time. Well, the sun came out. Clouds are bugging out of here. Not a bad day, really. The sun's pretty warm. It's only 43 right now. I think we're supposed to be 55 or 6 today. And the grass is starting to turn green. Which means I gotta get this ready. Anyway, got this all set up in here and gonna start punching holes. So we are just going to come in here and start punching some holes. So that works pretty slick. Now I gotta go all along this, all along back here. Got a lot of holes to punch yet. Bent up just a little bit. All along here it's kind of flared out. Now like I said, this is all, it's flared, it's bent up just a little bit all along this edge. And I can't get that punch tool on here. It's even worse down there. I'm gonna see if I can straighten it out a little bit. If that's even doing anything. But I think I'm gonna have to go on down. Can't get it out of there. I think I'm gonna have to go all along this edge. Try to flatten it out a little bit. Well, I got about halfway down this and I don't know what it made it run through my mind. I stopped, came back and looked at the Bronco. Those holes that I'm punching, they're not going to work because they're coming down about 2 1/4 inches from that bend right there, so they're going to be down in here somewhere. I need them within about 3/4 of an inch where it folds down this way. That little punch tool isn't going to work. I mean, I guess it would work if I wanted to cut all that off, but not going to do that. And so I'm going to have to drill those. Always run into something. Yeah, always something. So, fuzz on the finger. I'm just going to start one right here. See how this is going to go. Well, it's going to take a little longer, but I'm going to finish up doing this and then we'll move on. So, verdict on that hole punch tool, it works fine. Is it needed? No, not really. You can drill all these by hand. I don't think it takes much longer. Perhaps on that end, unless you have the quarter panel up on a bench where you can get down low enough where you can get a drill, down below it. Maybe you could do it upside down. I don't know. That place right over there is probably easier with the punch, but you could certainly do it with a drill. Would I recommend getting that hole punch? Undecided at the moment. So now I'm just going to come in here and remove some of the black paint from around all these holes where I'm going to be welding. So we are going to see if we can get this back on here again without any damage. Hopefully for the last time. What am I caught on? Okay. Now, I remember how I did this before. Very carefully. There we go. Slow. Slow. Get over this last little bit here. Well, it all of a sudden moved and I didn't have the camera on, but it's up where it needs to go as far as being forward. I just spot welded a couple of those on, and they're not even on real good, I don't think. Not 100% sure on that, but wanted to do that, and hopefully if I move this panel around at all, it'll hold. This up here is where I want it. It's up as high as it can go. That little piece that's attached to the quarter panel is up against the piece inside of here that I can't get to. I do have a gap right here. Should be able to get at least one weld over in here. And I think it's all set pretty good where it needs to be. Just like to get a few little welds in it here and there. So if I do try to manipulate it a little bit, it's not gonna come falling back down. Darn mama kitties, they decided to get a couple kittens out and about, and I have to be careful where I walk. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to get some more welds done on this, and I'll bring you back in here in a minute. All right, so far I've got the front up here, got it spot welded into place, and been running into some problems. Nothing real major, but I've got some back here. I don't like the way they're piling up, but I don't really know what to do about it. I'm not a professional welder. One thing about this punch, when it punches these holes, those holes are pretty darn small, and it fills up with weld so quick that they're not sticking together. So, and I did several, well, in fact I did all these right here, had it clamped together, thought it was doing good, and none of them held. So I ground the weld down, and I took and I drill back through it with that bit, and most of them I just went up to the next bit size. A couple of them I went up to even that big, and that seems to help quite a bit because the hole's bigger and it just doesn't fill up with weld quite as fast. So I am going to continue. I think I might slow my wire speed down a little bit, maybe try turning up the amperage a little more and go from there. Well, I came up here and I was going to start welding all these holes, and you know how I was having, well, when I was punching these holes here, I realized they were down too low. These are up too high. There's nothing behind them. This actually doesn't sit completely down on top of here, and so you need to put the holes, just put the holes about right in the middle of that. So I'm gonna have to come in here and carefully drill a whole bunch of holes along here without going through that inner piece. I can do it, that's how I re-drilled all these. But right now I gotta go get my kid from school, so I will finish that when I get back. Well, she's on. Not completely. I got a couple welds left to do, but I got her all welded up in there. There's a weld down there I gotta do yet. But back here, and I know it doesn't look real good, but I got those holes all drilled, welded, ground them down. Got to fill all these holes in up here, and this light is causing problems. All these holes down here that I started doing before, got to fill those all in. These down here, I'm pretty sure I can weld those shut, put a copper spoon thing up behind them, close those up. I imagine I can close these up too, and then grind them down, put some paint on them. Not really probably going to hurt much anyway, since it's basically on the inside of the vehicle. Well, if the top's on anyway. And the door needs a little adjustment, but looks like the body lines are going to line up pretty much perfect. And then I need to put the inner wheel well in. This one won't work. This one's for the left side. I got these for my truck, and these are why your fenders rust out, and I didn't put these on my truck. I made some bracing that went from the lip of the fender on up in there. I made like 3 of them so you could get up in there and wash it out. This is why your fenders rust out. You get these mounted up in there. Like I said, this one won't fit over here, but this gets welded on to the lip here on your fender, and then dirt, salt, whatever gets collected. You know, there's going to be a little tiny gap in there probably, and you cannot get in there and wash it out, and that's why they start rusting, and that's why I didn't put them on my truck. Not sure if I'm going to do them on the old Bronco here or not. I might, I don't know. If I do, I'm going to have to order another one for this side. We'll see. And also need to, and I don't know if they're on the old fenders or not, which they are over in on the other side of the barn. There's a brace, there's a little hole, let's see it right underneath there, that goes from here, goes, I don't know, goes up in there somewhere. Because right now, yeah, there's not much holding that. There, and also back here, there's another one. Right, yeah, where is it? Yep, right there. Those little, it's just a rod that goes up in there, and that's what holds them secure there. So I need to get those or make something or something. But this quarter panel is basically on. And now I need to do the same thing to this one, but at least now I know what mistakes not to make, and hopefully you do too. I've never put a quarter panel on before. On anything. I've worked on trucks like my truck, but I haven't replaced a quarter panel before. So kind of a learning experience for me. But if you're doing one of these on a Bronco, you don't want to drill them clear up here. You don't want to drill them clear down here or punch them or whatever. And honestly, that punch, it's just too small. It fills up with weld so quick, I don't think you get any penetration. And I ended up drilling them out. I used a 1/4 inch drill bit, and these are, I just got these, I don't know, a couple months ago, if I can get it back in there. These are Milwaukee cobalt bits. Really like them. They work really, really well. I thought I was going to have to use 3, and I actually started doing that with, I actually started using, let's see, 5/32, then going to 3/16, 7/32, and then 1/4. And the problem I was having was this small one would go through both pieces of metal, which I didn't want. This one, you could make it work if you went real slow, and then I'd bump it up to this one, and then this one. I ended up just going straight in with 1/4 inch, and that seemed to work really well. But these, I'll have to say, these Milwaukee cobalt bits work pretty darn good. I'll link these down below in the description if you're interested in getting some for yourself, but I'm happy with them. But she's finally starting to look like a Bronco again. What a difference, right? So John, thanks again for sending in the plate. I need to get that up on the wall yet. And if you have a license plate for the license plate wall or anything else that you want to send into the Fox shop, address where you can do so is down below. Also down there is a link for hoodies, t-shirts, channel stickers, that kind of thing. And with that being said, give this video a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.